So I've been a pretty big Sonic fan since before I can remember. I'm pretty sure it's the first video game series that I ever started playing. And in recent years, I've kind of grown more distant towards the series. I haven't really been a big fan of the modern releases, and I've even kind of retroactively kind of disliked some of the games, especially some of the more 3D ones. But for the most part, I still love the fucking character to pieces, because Sonic himself is probably the best part of this movie. Let me just go ahead and jump right in and say that Ben Schwartz, the voice actor for Sonic in this, is fantastic. He's great throughout the entire thing. I love his energy. His voice is absolutely perfect. I'm pretty sure I said that when the trailer that initially dropped. I was like, his voice is awesome. Like, it's the best thing about the trailer, bar none. I see a lot of people praising Jim Carrey, saying he's the best part of the movie for them. But for me, it was without a doubt Ben Schwartz as Sonic. I loved his voice, and I feel like, no disrespect to Roger Craig Smith, the current voice of Sonic, but like, Ben Schwartz does it so much better. He doesn't sound like he's like trying to pitch his deep voice down to do the character. Ben Schwartz just has that voice that's perfect, that kinetic energy that's perfect for a character like Sonic. So, let's go back a little bit. Sonic the Hedgehog, the movie, 2020 is what we're talking about. So, first things first, let's get this out of the way. Sonic used to look like shit. I remember thinking to myself, like, even though it was bad, the movie itself didn't look that impressive either. And I said the same thing. I was like, it looks like a generic kids movie, but now you have this creepy little blue goblin that looks like a toddler in a Sonic costume, like a really bad Sonic cosplay. And it's like, the movie itself still looks generic. And honestly, that is the movie. It's a little bit generic. It's not that bad. I see a lot of people like, I wasn't even going to see the movie, first of all. Like, I love Sonic, but I was like, whatever, it looks like a decent kid movie, but I don't care. I remember seeing the redesigned Sonic being like, he looks fantastic. Kudos to the animation studio that did it. It kind of sucks that they got kind of fucked over in the process, but I was like, he looks great. Whatever. I don't really want to see the movie. I thought he looked great, but I was like, I don't really want to see this. It's like, it looks like every other adaptation of an old property where they come to our world and they latch on to some human family and blah blah blah. And I mean, that is exactly the fucking movie to a T. It's exactly what I thought it was going to be. And it's like, I can't really criticize it too harshly, because I mean, it's a kids movie. So like, I don't even think it's bad. Like, there's really not a whole lot to criticize here. So basically, let's get the basic plot out of the way. The basic plot is that the movie starts off with Sonic in his world, which I figured they were going to do that. But what I didn't expect was that they had some really fucking cool, like, fantasy elements going on there. There's this owl lady. They had some really cool fantasy elements going on there. There's this owl lady called like Longclaw that takes care of Sonic when he's a kid, and there's like one of the part of the movie that threw me off the most, the one that actually caught me off guard, was the Echidna tribe that was trying to kill Sonic in the beginning of this movie. I'm pretty sure they were echidnas anyway. That's a really cool fucking touch, and it made me really enjoy that whole fantasy world they were in at the beginning. And just like every other movie that's like this, they don't stay in the fantasy world. They have to come to our world, and that's when the movie kind of becomes more mundane. So the movie opens up with like I said, Sonic and his like protector, kind of, this owl lady, who tells him like, you gotta protect your power, you gotta be more secretive about it, because apparently people, they really want. At first I was like, it's just super speed, like, that's not that impressive. Like, she's always talking about, you gotta be more careful with your power, Sonic, you can't let anybody see your power, you gotta keep it hidden. And, you know, Sonic being cocky, he's like, yeah, you know, whatever, no one can catch me, I'm so fast. And she's like, you gotta be more secret with your power, you gotta hold back, Sonic, you can't let people see it because they'll want to take the power away. But as the movie goes on, they do a good job of showing you that, like, Sonic's power is kind of ridiculous, especially that scene where he's at the baseball stadium, where he runs around in a circle and he, like, lets off an electric charge. Like, he's got some crazy power, so, like, I see what she was talking about. But she then sacrifices herself for Sonic to go through a wormhole. Like, he uses the rings as wormholes. She gives him a whole bag of these rings that can teleport him anywhere he wants to if he thinks about the location, and sends him on his way while she kind of sacrifices herself to the Echidna tribe to save Sonic. In that scene, it completely caught me off guard. Like, I was on board from that moment on, and I'm kind of sad to say that the quality of the movie kind of goes down from there on. Again, I'm not saying the movie's bad. It just kind of turns into a standard road trip movie after that, which is kind of disappointing because it had such a strong opening. That fantasy world that they were in the beginning was so fucking cool. It kept reminding me of the Smurfs movie, and while I don't really like the Smurfs as a property, I remember being forced to go see that movie for whatever reason, and I remember it opening up with them like in Smurf Village and it being like kind of a fantastical world. Me thinking like, okay, this is kind of interesting. But then they go to New York and then you get the same standard New York things you expect. Oh, it's so crazy. New York is crazy. Let's ride on the subway and blah, blah, blah. Like you get that standard stuff where it's like, oh, we're in a weird world and I don't know how this shit works. And I mean, like, to this film's credit, Sonic's been in this world for a long time, so we don't get that whole fish out of water story, because, like, Sonic understands how things work. He reads comic books, he, like, runs around in the washing machine. That scene where he's, like, in his own little den that's in the trailer is actually really, really cool. I like that a lot. Speaking of which, like, just like, I'm kind of just rapidly firing off things. That's kind of how I do my reviews. And before I forget, I want to just go ahead and say how much of a nice touch it was that they, like, in all the trailers, Sonic is wearing his trademark sneakers, but in the movie, his shoes are actually really fucked up. He's got this old pair of sneakers, and it's not until midway, like towards the end of the movie, kind of, where he gets these new, the standard, like, you know, the trademark red shoes from this little girl. And I thought that was a really nice touch. Like, I thought that was really cool. Because first off, his shoes would look like shit. I've always said that with Sonic. Like, as fast as he runs, his shoes would look like crap. But I just thought that was a really nice scene. I really liked that. It was a nice touch. The little kid wasn't the greatest actor in the world, but I liked it. It was a cute little touch. So anyway, Sonic's been in our world for a little while now. He watches this couple played by, I don't know what the fuck his name is, and I don't care enough to look it up. The guy who played Cyclops in X-Men, which I didn't even know until someone told me. Him and his girlfriend, they're kind of our main human beings. They're your main human beings for this evening. Pretty much like our guide. Like, you know, like every movie like this has that avatar character, because like the main character, I guess the blue furry alien animal creature is not relatable enough, so we need some humans. While the dude character, I think his name is Tom, the character, not the actor, which Sonic calls him Donut Lord. He gives everybody little weird nicknames. I like the crazy guy, the conspiracy theory guy. Oh my god, that's another thing. This movie has a lot of like good like callback jokes and references to the Sonic series, which I'll get into later. But anyway, for the most part of the movie, it turns into a buddy cop sort of thing with him, literally, because like the Tom guy is actually a sheriff. He wants to be like a big town city cop. That's kind of like a big plot element in the movies. He wants to move out of Green Hill. Get it? Like the town's called Green Hill. Hilarious. But like he wants to move out of his small podunk town to become like a real cop in like a big city, which, you know, Sonic is kind of like, why would you want to? Like, you kind of seem like you have a nice little fit here. And like, it turns into a whole thing. I feel like their relationship can be most compared to like an older brother and like a little brother, or maybe kind of a parent kind of relationship. Which is, if I have one complaint with the movie, I have two big complaints. One of them is with an actor, which I'll get to later. And another one is Sonic's personality in this movie. Honestly, you know, I take that back. It's not even really a complaint. I just find it kind of odd. Sonic's personality in this is very different from the games. If you've ever played a Sonic game before, Sonic's personality is very like, you know, like I'm very like, yeah, I live on the edge, and like I like freedom, and like I just like do whatever, and I'm quippy and ha. But he's not really like that in this movie. In this, he's more kind of like a goofy, scared, lonely, really, really lonely little kid. And they really play up the whole loneliness factor, which I was like, that's not really a Sonic trait. Like, he's never really been lonely. He has a ton of friends in the games. I just thought that was kind of weird. It works for the film. It bugged me a little bit more, but now that I'm actually sitting and thinking about it, it's an adaptation. It really doesn't matter that much. But I thought that was very curious. It was kind of a weird take on the character to make him, because it's a really big plot point. It isn't just like a throwaway thing. It's kind of the theme of the movie, is like he's kind of lonely. And he latches onto this couple, and by the end of it, spoiler alert, he kind of becomes like their surrogate adoptive kid, sort of, which is very odd. Again, I don't even think it's that bad. I think it's fine for like this adaptation of their world, but it's very weird. I'm the kind of person where like, if you do something well, I don't care if you take liberties with the characters. I don't give a shit. It's whatever. But I just thought that was kind of weird. Again, not bad. I just thought it was kind of odd. It's just very, very weird, because like that's never really been a thing for Sonic. He's very, very lonely in this. Ben Schwartz does a great job as a character, though, which it works. Speaking of Ben Schwartz and speaking of Sonic, another thing I kept thinking of through the whole movie, and I'm sure I'm not going to be the only person to say this, is if they had gone with that original Sonic design, would this movie be getting the critical acclaim that it's getting right now? I don't think it would. Because a lot of this movie banks on the fact that you feel for Sonic and like how lonely he is, and you kind of have to think he's kind of adorable, which he is really cute. I love the design, especially like there's that one scene where he gets really wet and he like fluffs out his hair and he's just a big poof ball. He's adorable. I love his design. It looks great. How would this movie have worked if they had gone with that old, horrible, disgusting design? I don't think it would have worked nearly as well. Because, again, I think a lot of the movie kind of hangs on the fact you think he's cute. It's kind of funny that just changing his design, I feel like really changed people's perception of the character overall. Like, I feel like that really helped the movie. It was a good move to change the design. Because I honestly think without that, I don't think the movie would be doing as well as it is doing now. Anyway, after Sonic, he has like an emotional episode. He lets off a huge electronic blast. The government gets called in. They're like, this is crazy. We got to send somebody in. And of course, the person they send in is Dr. Robotnik, played by Jim Carrey. And this is going to be like, this is pretty much my only real complaint with the movie. And it's probably going to be the one thing that people are going to hate me for. I'm okay with that. And it's that I don't like Jim Carrey in this movie. I think Jim Carrey's been doing the same fucking thing for like the past 25 years. Ever since I've been alive, pretty much. He's been doing the same shtick, and I'm sick of it. I don't care for it anymore. And in this, I didn't see Dr. Robotnik. I never once saw it. With Ben Schwartz, I feel like he melted into the performance, and I saw Sonic. I saw it. Other than the loneliness thing, I was like, that's totally him. He nailed it. I love the character. Even without, like, okay, even with the whole, like, the new aspects of his personality that they added, I saw him as that character. Totally melted into it. I've heard Ben Schwartz's voice in a ton of other things. I think he was Randy Cunningham in the one Disney Channel cartoon. He's that one duck. I don't know which one it fucking is, the blue one on DuckTales. He's John Ralphio on Parks and Recreation. But when he did this voice, I felt it. I didn't see Ben Schwartz anymore. He melted into the character. Did a fantastic fucking job. Jim Carrey was playing Robotnik, playing Jim Carrey. It was Jim Carrey playing Robotnik, playing Jim Carrey. Like, it's just Jim Carrey. If you've ever seen him do anything before, in any of his weird, like The Riddler, The Grinch, anything you've seen him in, Liar Liar, like, not Liar Liar, what's that? Is it Liar Liar? Whatever. Any movie where you've seen Jim Carrey do his Jim Carrey shtick, you've seen this before. It's the same thing, except with the added twist that he's like, this like, what's the word for it? He's got his head up his own ass. He thinks he's smart. He's the smartest guy in the room, which he is 9 times out of 10. But he completely degrades everybody, which can be funny sometimes. Like, if you've seen that trailer where he's talking to like the fucking army guy, he's like, I'm the one in charge. That's the whole movie. Like, it's Jim Carrey if he was a narcissist and he thought he was smarter than everybody in the room, which can be funny sometimes. I will say I liked his performance at the very end of the movie when maybe it's because he looks more like the character. I don't know. But for most of the movie, I just wasn't feeling it. I just did not like it. He's so over the top. It's so much. And by the end of the movie, I kind of wanted it to be over. Not gonna lie. Like, I was kind of exhausted with the movie by the end of it. It's really, really short, but even then I was just kind of like, let's just end it already. That might just be because my tolerance for live action, like, kids movies are very, very low. And again, this is very much like every kids movie you've seen. It's not bad. In fact, if you got a young Sonic fan in your family, take them to it. They'll fucking love it. I guarantee you. They'll absolutely fucking love it. I don't want to say that to like kind of like degrade like people who are grown ass like adults going to it and seeing it. I don't want to like, this is a kid's movie. You got to be a kid to enjoy it. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying if you are a kid, you're probably gonna absolutely fucking love it. There's a lot of callbacks in this movie for older Sonic fans. Like I saw there was some musical cues. They play I think they play like Green Hill Zone's music towards the end. There's that part where he's like playing ping pong on the Hilltop Zone thing. There's my videos are all spoiler videos. I don't really like to. I can't really hold back because like a lot of this is just off the cuff. I have a couple of ideas early on, so usually I like to put like a spoiler thing in before my reviews. So I'm just gonna go ahead and say it that Tails pops up at the very end of the movie. Again, I'm gonna put like a spoiler thing like before I even get to this part. But yeah, Tails pops up to set up another sequel, which is weird because I don't know if he's supposed. Because like again, Sonic's big thing in this is that he's lonely, but like Tails is his best friend, so it's weird. Like I guess they haven't met yet. I don't know. So it seems like they haven't met yet because like I didn't actually see the end credit scene, but I've looked it up and just Tails kind of just pops out of one of the wormholes. Is from what I've been told, that's what happens. So that's interesting to see because like this movie's doing really well, so they're probably going to make a sequel. So that'll be very interesting to see where they go with it. Maybe next time, now that we know what people want out of a Sonic design, you guys can go into the next movie and make the design good from the beginning, so you don't have to close like fuck over an entire animation studio just to fix a design that you guys fucked up in the first place. Wait for this thing to pass before I continue talking. So yeah, the basic overall plot is just like they have this bag of like I said before, he's given a bag of rings early on in the movie, and they take you to any place on the planet. Once Jim Carrey gets brought in, Sonic's like, okay, fuck it, I gotta bail, I gotta get off Earth, because like, if he finds me, I'm fucked, I gotta get off this planet. So he gets his bag of rings, and he's gonna make a jump to like a mushroom planet, which I couldn't help but feel like because there's this mushroom world that I think Longclaw says like you can go to for safety, and Sonic's like, I don't want to go to the fucking mushroom planet, mushrooms suck. And I can't help but think like, was that a dig at Mario? Was that like a low-key dig? Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it's like a reference to Mushroom Hill Zone from Sonic 3. I don't know. Or is that Sonic and Knuckles? I don't know, but like he keeps saying it over and over. I thought that was kind of funny. But anyway, he's about to make the jump, but then like he gets shot in the leg, like that scene where he's like meow from the trailer. He gets shot in the leg by the cop, and then like his bag of rings goes to San Francisco, which is where the sheriff guy was going to be relocated for his new job as like a real police officer, I believe. And that starts our whole road trip movie. We got to get to San Francisco to get your rings back, and then Dr. Robotnik's on his tail, and he gets one of Sonic's hairs, and he uses that to power up his robots and try to hunt him down. Those are actually, there's a really cool scene towards the end where Sonic's just going from ring to ring to ring to ring to ring from like all these planets, these places all over the world. I thought that was a really cool scene. There are so many fucking noises today. That's like the 5th plane since I've started recording. Either this happens all the time and I don't notice, or the planes are fucking with me. Yeah, it's gotta be that second thing. That makes more sense. That was just one of the cooler scenes in the movie. Like, I don't want to come off and say, like, there's not a lot of cool scenes. Like, I didn't enjoy some of the scenes in the movie. I just, like, a lot of the humor for me wasn't really all that funny. I didn't get a lot of, like, really hard laughs from this. It's like, no shit, it's a fucking kid's movie and you're a grown-ass man. But, like, there were some things that made me laugh. Like I said, the conspiracy theories, that really made me laugh. Some of the callbacks were really, really funny. I really, really, really enjoyed the opening. That was probably my favorite part of the entire movie. I like the chase scene between him and Dr. Robotnik. You know what's funny? There's not a lot of Sonic and Robotnik in this movie. There's not a whole lot of just them going at it, because Sonic in this movie is very different from any other Sonic you've ever seen before. He's not very like proactive when it comes to battles. He does get into a couple of fights with the robots, but for the most part, he seems kind of held back. Like, he seems more kind of scared, like realistically, like, oh my god, these robots are gonna fucking kill me. Like, he seems like he's not as cocky as the Sonic we've known him as, which I'm kind of fine with that, because this is basically an origin story. But there's not a lot of confrontations between him and Dr. Robotnik in the movie. I believe they only, also, gotta give the movie major points for literally, like, actually making his name Dr. Robotnik. Did not think they'd do it. I thought they'd pull some shit where it's like, his name is Dr. Domus John William Sheft or some shit, and then, like, he goes by the nickname Robotnik. And I'm pretty sure, unless I missed it, his name is actually Robotnik in this. And then, like, he has these little robots that are egg-shaped, so Sonic calls him the Eggman. And it's like, I got you. I thought that was actually pretty clever. That was actually a cool way to give him his nickname. I was like, you snuck that in there. It was pretty low-key. I like that. But, like, there's not a lot of confrontations between them. From all I can remember, I think there's only maybe 3 big confrontations. The part in Tom's house, the highway scene where like the robot keeps turning and getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and then the final confrontation. Unless I missed one, I think that's it. There's only the 3 big confrontations with Robotnik throughout the movie, which is kind of weird. And then even while all that's happening, they only really confront each other like face to face and talk at the very end of the movie. So like, because like the first time he's in Tom's house, he just kind of screams, and then like Tom knocks him out. And then the second time when they're on the road, he's just fighting the robots. Like, Jim Carrey's controlling them from, like, far away. And so, like, I think the end where he puts on the red coat and really becomes, like, Robotnik is the only time they really have a confrontation. And again, like, I feel like if Jim Carrey had done, like, if he had actually, you know, like, acted instead of just doing Jim Carrey-isms, it would have been kind of interesting. But, like, the whole time, all I saw was Jim Carrey. Like, all I could think of was just like the Grinch, the Cable Guy. Like, it's all I mean, I keep harping on it, but it's like, usually I'm really simple. Like, I'm usually only really critical of animation. Usually with live action, I'm good. Like, I'm pretty simple. Just give me the bare minimum and I'm good. But like with Jim Carrey, I've seen this man do this performance so many times that I was just like, that's all I see. All I see is Count Olaf from the Series of Unfortunate Events. All I see is the fucking Grinch. Like, I didn't buy it. I didn't buy him as Robotnik at all. And I know that's a weird thing to complain about in a kid's movie, but it's just like, I just didn't care. He did not really pull that off for me. I'm sad to say. Like, I thought, you know what, if I'm being honest, from the first trailer, I was never really feeling it. I did not think I was gonna like him, and I was right. I don't. So, like, you know, those are some of the good things, some of the bad things. For the most part, the movie is fine. It's not a dumpster fire like people thought it was going to be, like I thought it was going to be. I thought it was completely serviceable. Again, if you've got kids that love Sonic, go take them. This is a perfect, what I like to call like a babysitting movie. You put it on and like the kids will they'll love it. Just leave them in front of the TV. Sonic is funny. He's cute. Kids will like him. He does a lot of goofy things. You know, another thing, I'll give this movie one more point in this movie's favor. They didn't really go for a lot of like the lowbrow humor that's typically in kids' movies. Like there wasn't like a lot of like potty humor and stuff like that. Like, oh no, poop or fart and stuff like that. Like there was like was there even a fart joke in this? I don't really know. One of probably like the main things, like one of the main marks against the movie for me personally is just it's kind of forgettable. I saw it 2 days ago and like I should have made a review as soon as possible. I wanted to chew on it for a while, but like it's very forgettable. It's not bad, like at all. It's not a bad movie at all. I wish I was like in either camp, you know? I wish I disliked it enough to be passionate about it, or I wish I loved it enough to be like, I gotta get this on Blu-ray when it comes out. But I just kind of fall somewhere in the middle. I just think it's a decent kids movie. If like, I'm trying to think like, what can I compare it to? Like I already said, like the Smurfs. Like I think that's kind of like the best compare. It reminds me of those Looney Tunes movies, like Space Jam or like Looney Tunes Back in Action. Like they were great movies when I was a kid. I'm older now and I watch them and I'm just kind of like, whatever. But like back then they were fucking amazing. And I'm sure some kids out there are going to love this too. And some adults are fucking loving it. So, you know, that's great. I wish I could love it. I don't hate it. I just think it's a decent kids movie. It wasn't bad. It had great things in it. I loved, like, every time Sonic was on screen, I loved it. Like, I did love seeing Sonic on screen. I loved Ben Schwartz's performance. He gets, like, off a lot of good lines in this. I just liked it. I liked his performance a lot. I really would love for him to be the new Sonic. Like, because I think he nails the character perfectly. I think he does. And, like, I've seen the guy in interviews. He seems like he genuinely likes the character, and then he's having a blast playing it. Like, I thought he did a great job. I mean, you can kind of say, like, I know I gave Jim Carrey a lot of shit throughout this review for doing the same old shtick, but I guess you could kind of give Ben Schwartz the same. No, I feel like he's been a different character in everything I've seen of him. It's just he does the same voice, but like, because like Randy Cunningham was like, you know, just your normal teenage kid who has this power, like these superpowers, and he's like, I'm gonna be a good kid, and you know. And this, I mean, like Sonic's really lonely, he's more childlike, and then Dewey, I think is the duck he plays in DuckTales, is more adventurous and more headstrong. So I mean, I feel like he's played different characters. And then John Ralphio was an idiot. So like, I feel like he's played different characters. Like I didn't really see Ben Schwartz. I saw Sonic, and I think that's like the best compliment I can give him. I thought he did a fantastic job. And this is someone who's been a Sonic fan since he started talking, pretty much. So like I've been there for every step of the evolution of all his voices. And I like his a lot. I gotta say, like, if I could compare it, like, I think, like, he's my favorite since Ryan Drummond, the voice of Sonic back in Sonic Adventure 1 and 2. So, like, I really enjoyed it. If they're gonna make a sequel, let me end on this. If they're gonna make a sequel, do more stuff in the other realms and whatnot. Like, honestly, if it was up to me, I say drop the humans altogether. Fuck them. Like, the next movie, they should be there at the beginning, and then Sonic should go through a wormhole, and that's just it. We're just in a fantasy world the whole time. Because, like, I don't really care about the human characters at all. Because, like, for example, I don't even know what his girlfriend's name is. I sat, like, without looking it up. Like, seriously, if you just saw the movie, I issue this challenge to you. What is the girlfriend's name in this movie? Because I don't know her name. I know Sonic calls her Pretzel Lady because she does yoga, which I thought was funny. But what is her name? I have no idea. I know that Dr. Robotnik has an assistant, like a lackey in the movie, and there was like kind of like this weird relationship between the both of them, almost like kind of a bromance. He was Stone, like he was just like Dr. Stone, or was that an anime? Anyway, I think his last name was just Stone. But like I can't remember the girl's name, and she's to be fair, she's barely in the movie. I think total clocking time, because when I first saw those trailers, I thought it was weird that we didn't see her a whole lot, and that's why. There's barely any footage of her. She's in the movie. No bullshit. I think maybe total clocking time, maybe 15 minutes. I'm not fucking kidding. She's barely in the film. Like, I thought maybe she wasn't in the trailer a lot because she can't act, and they didn't really want to, like, put that on display. But no, she's just barely in the movie. She's fine. I liked her and Tom's relationship. I thought they were cute together. But she's barely in it. She to give you some context, she's in the movie, and then she goes to visit her sister, so she's out of it for a little while. And then they need, like, Sonic gets injured, and also, I gotta say, okay, so just throw this in there. There's a scene where Sonic gets pretty fucked up. I can't remember why he gets fucked up. I think it's like a battle with Robotnik. He gets blown up, basically, which is funny out of context, but no, seriously. He gets injured pretty badly. Tom picks him up and takes him to his girlfriend because she's a veterinarian to like see if she can help. In that scene where Tom is holding, I don't think anyone's mentioned this in any of the reviews, not that I've seen. When he's holding Sonic underneath a blanket, it looks so fucking fake, and I couldn't stop thinking about it. Cause like Sonic's pretty big in this. Like he's tiny, but like he's got a big ass head. But underneath that blanket, you can tell that's obviously not him. I don't know if like they had to reshoot it after they redid the design or what, but that looked so fucking fake. He's obviously not holding him because he like Tom is supposed to be holding him in both his arms, like cradling him because like he's like, oh, he's injured. It looked so fucking fake, and I could not stop thinking. It was like the only part of the movie that I was like, this is objectively bad. Not objectively. I mean, I mean, like there's no such thing as objective with opinions, but like it was the only part of the movie where I was like, all right, this is pretty bad. Like it was so distracting. I could not stop thinking about it. It looked like he was holding like a teddy bear or some shit. It looked so fucking fake. I don't even remember what the hell my point was, but like that was like the only part of the movie where I was like, this is pretty bad. My point was that she's barely in the movie. That's all she really does is like she helps him out. Like she barely even does anything. I think she just like I watched it with my girlfriend, and she even said it. She was like, I think all she did was crack a smelling salt in the entire movie. And I was like, you know what, you're kind of right. That's really all she did. Like she's supportive. She was a good character. I liked her, but she was barely in the movie. I expected not to like her because I was like, she's probably not going to be that great of an actor because like they didn't put her in the trailers a whole lot. But she's fine. I thought they had a sweet relationship. But she's very supportive. She has a really funny scene early on with like a birthday cake that I won't ruin because I thought that was pretty funny. I'll ruin plot points, but I'm not going to ruin jokes because it hits harder when you don't see them coming. But she has a funny moment early on. I was like, that's cute. She's very, very supportive. Great girlfriend. Her sister was a total fucking bitch, though. But that actually led itself to some funny parts. And I'm stopping to think about it. There were quite a bit of like jokes in this that actually made me laugh. But anyway, like she was barely in it. I was just barely in it. I was like, why? She kind of almost seemed pointless, honestly. Like you didn't really have to have her there. The only thing she really did was crack a smelling salt, and that was it. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get into my closing thoughts. The Sonic movie is not bad. It's not terrible. It's not horrible. It's fine. It's a decent kids movie. Are there better kids movies you can go see? Like I think Onward's coming out this week. It's probably gonna fucking squash Sonic at the box office this weekend if it's coming out this weekend. But like, it doesn't stack up to like Pixar movies or anything like that. You know what it reminds me of? And maybe this was on purpose. It reminds me of a lot of 90s movies. A lot of 90s movies where like the kids would find some type of supernatural creature and it's like, whoa, wacky antics ensue. Except this one was like slightly tighter written. The opening, the way this movie is set up is so fucking good. And that's it really blows my mind. Like they really nailed the first like 10 minutes of this movie. Like the setup is so perfect. I loved all that fantasy stuff in Sonic's world. It looked so good. It looked good and it was like surprisingly cool. Like it was like surprisingly cool. Like they actually had like anthropomorphic animal creatures that like I actually like the owl lady. Like what was up with that? Like can we get more backstory on that? How does she find Sonic? Why is she taking care of him? I want to know more about that stuff. It was so cool. The echidnas. The fucking like Knuckles is my favorite character in the Sonic franchise, and they nailed the echidnas. They were so cool. They were only in there for like a minute, but like they were so fucking awesome. I geeked the hell out when I saw them, but they're barely in the movie. I wish they focused on more of that fantasy stuff. Like if they're gonna make a sequel, focus on more fantasy stuff. That's like the only thing I can really think of. But other than that, the movie is perfectly fine. You're gonna laugh. There are moments that you actually might feel some emotions. You feel for Sonic in it. His design looks great. The movie was decent. I just wish. I wish Jim Carrey was a little bit better. But by the end, I will say after the post credit, not the post credits. Is it post credits? Towards the end of the movie, again spoilers, but the whole thing is a spoiler review. Eggman gets sent to the mushroom planet that was joked about early on, and because he's been there for a little while now, his mustache is all frizzed out. It looks like the Eggman mustache. He's got his goggles. He looks more like the character. Reminds me more of it. He's not really there yet. I still don't see him as Dr. Robotnik / Eggman, but like, I thought it was fine. As an adversary for this Sonic, it's fine. At the end, throughout the movie, I thought he was insufferable, but like at the end, I was like, yeah, that's pretty good. But yeah, the movie's fine. You're gonna laugh a couple times. You might even love the movie. Ben Schwartz's performance is fantastic, and Sonic's design is really great, and there's some great callbacks and jokes. Again, that crazy conspiracy theorist guy, that had me fucking, that was so fucking funny. But yeah, that's all I really gotta say about the movies, guys. The movie's not bad. If you hear any reviews where people are like completely shitting on it, like, I think that's kind of being unfair. But then at the same time, I kind of think people that are like overhyping it as the best video game movie ever, I mean, that's a low bar to be fair. Like, what could even come in competition? Like, the Detective Pikachu movie? Like, I wasn't really crazy about that either. So, I don't know. But you know what? What I will say about that movie is, like, the Pokemon looked really great, and so does Sonic in this. So it's like, if only they could nail their plots better, you know, or just concentrate on the thing that makes the series awesome. Like, you know, I feel like Pokemon concentrated enough on the Pokemon, though. I mainly just didn't like the main guy. This isn't a review of Detective Pikachu. Anyway, the Sonic movie's fine. Go see it. You'll have a great time, probably. Take the kids. Take the family. It's a great flick for, like, the family. You'll laugh. You'll have a good time. You might even tear up a little bit. It has a couple moments that are actually pretty sweet. I like seeing Tom and Sonic bond. It's pretty sweet. So yeah, that's pretty much all I gotta say, guys. I appreciate you guys for watching the video, and I'll see you guys next time. How did they get Wiz Khalifa to do a song for this? Like, seriously, what is it with Sonic things and having amazing music? Like, in everything they do, like, no matter how bad the games get, they always have really fucking good songs.